No one knows that this woman is a spy. She can seduce many men with just her body and do whatever she wants. Because of this, she has achieved many successes. Hello, my dear family. Peace be with you. Today I have brought you the most popular movie called Red Sparrow, which was released in 2018. My family, please help us by liking the video. Without wasting time, let's go to the movie.
Yes!
The movie starts with a ballerina named Dominika Egorova. She is sitting back and enjoying a calm song through her headphones. At the same time, a CIA agent named Nate Nash is sitting down, feeling anxious. When the phone rings, he quickly runs to pick it up. The person on the phone says a secret code, and he writes it down quickly. After figuring out the code, Nate finds a place called Gokapop where a meeting is happening. At Dominika's house, she wakes up, looks after her sick mom, and takes her to the hospital for a checkup. When Dominika gets home, she gives her mother to her caregiver, Lenny, and then goes to work. Dominika gets to work, applies her makeup, and prepares to do her job. Before going on stage, Dominika's uncle, Vonya, who is the deputy director of the SVR and works for a Russian intelligence agency, introduces her to a rich man named Dmitry Ustinov. Dmitry is quickly interested in Dominika and insists on getting a picture with her. Soon after, Dominika goes on stage and puts on an amazing show that the audience loves. At the same time, Nate meets a stranger to trade a mysterious item, and then they both go their own ways. A police car arrives at the corner and tries to stop the stranger. Nate takes out his gun to make a distraction, and that helps the unknown person get away. The police focus on Nate, and they start chasing him through the streets of Moscow. Nate runs away from the many police officers after him and reaches the American embassy, where he quickly asks for help. At the theater where Dominika is performing, her dance partner accidentally steps on her leg during the show, breaking it and causing the play to stop early. Dominika is taken to the hospital to get medical treatment afterward. At the embassy, Nate's bosses reprimand him for being careless. They said the police he saw while he was with his friend were just looking for regular criminals and weren't following him. However, he has officially lost his secret identity because of the trouble he caused. Nate explains that he was just trying to keep his informant safe because if the Russians found out about him, they would realize they had a spy in their group. In the next scene, Vanya meets with Zakharov, the director of the agency, and a top general named Kirchner. The two people tell him about the recent event involving Nate and the mysterious person he met. Soon after, Dominika wakes up in her hospital bed and starts crying because she understands that she will never be able to dance again. 3 months later, Dominika is getting better after her accident. Dominika's uncle, Vonya, goes to see her. Vanya tells Dominika that she will lose her help, like paying for her mom's medical bills and her apartment, because she is not working for the dance company anymore. Before leaving, Vanya gives Dominika a puzzle that comes with a tape recorder. She hears the audio and understands that her partner purposely stepped on her leg while dancing to make his girlfriend take Dominika's place as his dance partner. When Dominika hears this, she gets mad and goes to the company. There, she quietly follows her ex-partner and his new girlfriend. She goes into the bathroom after them and catches them kissing. Then she uses her walking stick to hit them badly. Soon after, Dominika regrets what happened and calls the hospital to tell them about it, which helps save both of their lives. Dominika comes home and finds her mother lying on the floor. The caregiver left her there because the company stopped paying them. This makes Dominika feel sad, so she decides to visit her uncle. The next day, Dominika meets her uncle, and he tells her what she needs to do to keep her apartment and make sure her mother gets medical care. Vanya suggests that Dominika meet Dmitry at a hotel and try to relax him. Dominika says yes and goes to the hotel. Dmitry quickly comes over to her, and they have a deep conversation. After their talk, Dominika takes Dmitry to her room and asks him to send away his bodyguards. After the guards leave, while Dmitry was about to have fun, but then a masked man shows up and kills Dmitry. The man in the mask tells Dominika to come with him, and they both leave the hotel together on a motorcycle. When they reach their destination, the man in the mask removes his helmet and it turns out he is a Russian spy named Matt Oren. Vanya tells Dominika that she has seen Dmitry Ustinov die. He says Dominika has two options. One is to face death to keep her secrets, and the other is to go to a school where Russia teaches people how to manipulate and trick others. Dominika is in a tough situation and has to choose the second option. After saying goodbye to her mother, Dominika is taken to the training school, where the graduates are called sparrows. Dominika's mom tells her to be careful with Vanya. She says he can't be trusted because he has liked Dominika in a romantic way since she was young. When Dominika gets to the school, a woman who calls herself the matron greets her. The matron hands Dominika a note with the name she will use while at the school. Oren is honest about her feelings and tells Dominika that she thinks she wouldn't be able to handle things because she has never had military training before. Soon after, Dominika begins her training with other new recruits. In the United States, Nate learns that he is suspended for an unknown amount of time. However, Nate tells his bosses that the person he works with will only agree to work with him. A few days later, Nate finds out that the Russians are watching him, which means they still don't know who he is working with. He tells his boss about this, and they decide to send him to Hungary to try to reach his contact again. In Russia, Dominika is doing very well compared to her classmates. While she is taking a shower, a male cadet comes in and tries to attack her, but Dominika removes the shower handle and uses it to protect herself. Soon after, General Korchnoi goes to the academy and sees that Dominika will be helpful to the agency. Dominika goes back to Moscow and sees her uncle. He tells her about her new job. She says that she needs to get to know Nate better, gain his trust, and try to learn the name of the mole. She gets a passport and new identification to use while she's there. Finally, Dominika gets to Budapest and heads directly to the apartment that is ready for her. She sees her roommate, Marta, who is another sparrow too. The next day, Dominika meets with the head of the station, Velentov. Velentov seems to be a man who really likes women because he tries to win over Dominika, but she doesn't let him have any time alone. Dominika begins getting ready to meet Nate, and Marta warns her that Russia won't let her go unless she finds some information about them. Soon after, Dominika signs up at the pool where Nate usually goes. Nate sees her and talks to her outside the pool. He talks to her for a little bit and asks her to have dinner with him, but Dominika says no. But Nate soon finds out that Dominika works for Russia, though he's not sure if she is part of their spy agency. Nate learns that Vanya is his uncle. His bosses ask him to get to know her better, but not too much, and Nate agrees. Later, Dominika meets Nate. The two people talk, and Dominika openly says that she is a spy. She explains to Nate how she got to her current situation. After their date, they planned another one for tomorrow. Later that night, Dominika looks through Matej's room. She finds out that Marta is gathering information on the chief of staff. Next, Dominika follows Velentov to a bar, where she talks to him about the bad report he sent to Moscow because she didn't want to kiss him. Dominika makes Velentov angry and makes him hit her in the face. Dominika takes advantage of the situation to threaten him. She says she will accuse him of hurting her unless he writes a positive report, and he agrees to do it. The next day, Nate waits at a restaurant, but he leaves when Dominika doesn't arrive. But Dominika is far away, and she takes the chance to go to Nate's apartment. While in his apartment, Nate gets a call from his contact and writes down a secret code that means enter. A little while later, Dominika calls Nate, and he lets her come in. Dominika tries to kiss Nate, but he says no. The next morning, Dominika sneaks into Nate's house while he's gone and takes a cup from his table. She arrives home to see her uncle, who is waiting for her. Vanya says Dominika is not doing very well. To change the subject, Dominika quickly uses Matej's skill as a shield. Dominika says she's teaming up with Marta to get the chief of staff from the United States to join them, and this makes Vanya feel better. After Vanya leaves, Marta talks to Dominika about her plan to take credit for Marta's work. However, Dominika says she only used it to buy more time and doesn't want to take credit for Matej's work. Marta pushes, and Dominika shares what the government knows about her. She tells Marta that she saw Dmitry Ostinov get killed. Soon after, Dominika goes to see Vanya to help her open a bank account in Vanya's name. At the same time, Marta visits Valentov to discuss how they can both get rid of Dominika. Later that day, Dominika comes home and finds Matej's dead body in the bathtub. Oren walks up from behind and says this is the final warning she'll receive. If she shares her secret with anyone again, something bad will happen to her. On the other hand, Nate's resource has told him that Dominika is a sparrow. Nate soon learns what happened to Dominika's roommate and goes outside the police station to get her. When Dominika arrives at Nate's house, she opens up to him and shares everything that happened. Nate says that Russia won't let her leave, and he recommends that she work for the United States. After telling her that she can't trust him, they start kissing on the couch. The next morning, Nate explains to Dominika what she needs to do to convince the SVR that she's improving. Later, Dominika takes a lie detector test with the CIA, and she passes it. She tells the CIA that a chief of staff named Boucher wants to sell U.S. nuclear launch codes to Russia, and she will meet with her in London. Next, Dominika arrives at the hotel to meet Boucher, but she sees that Valentov is there too. Dominika asks Valentov to go to her room and wait there. At the same time, the CIA keeps an eye on everything happening using their spy cameras. Boucher arrives and goes to Dominika's room, where they trade discs with the codes for $250,000. Dominika goes into the other room to check the codes, but while she's there, she secretly swaps the real discs with fake ones that the CIA has already put in place. After the deal is done, Dominika and Valentov leave and tell Boucher to wait an hour before he leaves. Boucher quickly leaves the hotel room but soon realizes that someone is following her. She gets scared and is hit by a truck. Nate goes to the hotel room to get the original discs. The Russian agents near the hotel see that Boucher had an accident and quickly call Valentov to inform him that someone has betrayed Boucher. Valentov and Dominika are called back to Russia right away. Nate chases after Dominika to help her, but she tells him to go away at the airport. When they get to Russia, Valentov and Dominika are asked questions, hurt, and hit to make them say who told the Americans about Boucher. After being asked many questions, Valentov is killed, but people think Dominika did nothing wrong. Dominika asks Vonier to send her back to Nate because she believes this will make the Americans trust her more. Vonier agrees and Dominika is let go. Before starting her mission, Dominika goes to visit Vonier at his house and tells him she feels sure that they are quite similar. In America, Nate is shocked to see Dominika. They both go to his apartment and kiss before going to sleep. Dominika wakes up in the night and sees Maturin hurting Nate. She quickly joins him and helps him hit Nate so that he will tell them all their names. But Nate says no. Maturin becomes careless, and Dominika takes the chance to strike him and free Nate. She and Nate get hurt in the fight, but she eventually wins and kills Maturin. Dominika calls the American embassy for assistance. In the next scene, Dominika wakes up in a hospital and sees General Korchnoi. She tries to tell him about her problem, but soon discovers that Korchnoi is the spy they were searching for. Korchnoi says that at first, he was loyal to Russia, but he got upset with the country's corruption when a government official, whom he had upset in the past, stopped an American doctor from treating his sick wife. Korchnoi says Dominika can let him go, but she should keep working with the Americans. After Korchnoi leaves, Dominika gives in to Hungary's control but asks to talk to Chief Sakharov. In a phone call with the chief, Dominika tells Sakharov who the spy is. Before bed, Korchnoi keeps his door open, drinks a glass of wine. Later, Dominika goes to an airport where the Russians have promised to trade her for the mole. When it's time to find out who the mole is, Nate is surprised to see it's Vonya. It seems that Dominika has set up Vonya by creating fake evidence to make him look like the American spy. As they are talking, a sniper shoots from far away and kills Vonya. But the Russians get away with Dominika. At the end of the movie, Dominika is honored in a military ceremony, and Korchnoi is there. Later, Dominika is shown happily living with her mom. She gets a call from someone she doesn't know who plays a piano piece. She figures out that the caller is Nate. The movie ends with Dominika smiling while she listens to the song. The movie ends here. Please, my family, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.